telling you that my head hurts. There's probably some in the room that's like, he just didn't want to sing this morning. I could have used it probably as an excuse before I left and not came. My heat messed up yesterday. It was cold last night. It's very easy for me to sit up here and tell you these things or to make these excuses. And a lot of people, everybody in this room is guilty of it. We'll say, well, sure. That's a problem that we have, and I'm not making an excuse for myself. It's a problem that this world has. We never consider the other side. It's a big reason why I take a step back from a lot of things in the world. I even deleted social media over it. Somebody goes out and they've got their view, they've got their opinion, they got the way they live their life, and you don't live your life that way, so you're going to talk everything you can about them. You don't know anything about what they're doing. You absolutely don't. But everybody has an opinion and a story that they tell themselves, and they separate facts from stories. And facts are facts. They can't be argued. Stories definitely can. This morning I told you a story that my head is hurting. Is that factual? It's factual to me. Maybe not to you. So you can have doubt about it. But here this morning, there's a world out there. And we can sit up here and we can talk and say that this person should do this person should do that. Like we're some sort of expert here today. Right. We act like we're some sort of expert, but we don't know what everybody's going through. We don't understand what goes on in other people's minds. We're wired. If you look at our bodies, you look at our minds, most of us are wired pretty much the same way. It kind of looks the same, but we definitely don't act the same. Listen, our vocal cords here this morning, they're built the same exact way. There'll be a few little differences that makes my voice different than your voice, and it makes her voice different than Tiffany's voice. It depends on how you use it and how you work your voice to be able to make either a pretty sound or a sound that's just enough or a sound that nobody really wants to even hear. We've got all these tools to reach out to this world, but we don't use them, and we want to use our justifications to tell everybody else how to live their lives. Listen, my opinion does not matter this morning. What matters is what my God had left before us in that Bible. The words in there, those are the facts here today. You can tell your story all you want, but I'm telling you the facts lie in that book. There ain't no way that you can sit and tell somebody how to live their life and be a true Christian when the book says otherwise. You're giving your opinion, giving your story. I'm weak. I'm probably the weakest creature that's sitting in this room at this moment. This week I spoke with a man who is he's a clinical psychologist, and he used to be a drug addict, and he was teaching a class that me and a bunch of managers have went to, and we got some one-on-one time with him, and he talked about controlling yourself. And he said a lot of truths and then a lot of things that I just probably couldn't agree with because I like to tend to look at things a little more biblical. Talking about anger. And he said, do you have any instances in your life where somebody's made you angry? And I said, all the time. All the time. And he said, well, how do you handle it at work? Why is it that you'll handle this at work different than you will outside? Well, I said, work pays my bills. And he just laughed at me, and he said, there's a mental payment that gets made every day. And he said, you said that somebody's made you mad. He said, nobody's made you mad. You've allowed somebody to make you mad. He said, and do you micromanage your people? And I said, no, I try not to. He said, because you don't want to control them. You want to give them their space. Listen, he said, the moment that you let someone make you mad, you gave them control. And then he used something that got a little familiar with me. He said, it's just like bait. It's just like fishing. He said, the world can throw all kinds of pretty bait out there to you. He said, but the moment you open your mouth and that hook just gets in you, he said the person on the other end that's reeling it, he said they've got full control over everything that you're doing. And you know, the conversation started to turn there because I found some familiar territory there, because the devil here this morning, how many times he's threw that bait out to me, that glamorous bait, listen, and it could be with anger, and you know, I'm programmed a little different here today. I guarantee there's nobody in this room that when faced with a situation, faced with problems, that's going to act the way that I will, because I've got a reptilian brain here. I go primal in an instant, and you know, we were talking, and you know, he said, how did you handle things when you were younger versus now? I said, well, I've got a little bit more restraint. He said, at what point in your life did you find that you had restraint? And I told him I was underground in the coal mines when I found restraint, when I could find the time to really second guess myself. I found a man named Jesus, and he was on my heart then, and it changed the way that I looked.
Yeah.
You know, he kind of stopped. He said, now your name makes sense. He said, I knew your name was biblical. He said, did you come from a religious family? I said, I guess you could say that. A couple of them anyway. And he said, well, this Sunday, what are you going to do when you stand up at the pulpit? He said, are you going to go out there? What kind of bait are you going to throw out? What are you looking for here today? And I'm just looking for peace. And most of us, we are. We're looking for peace. We're looking for understanding. We're looking for a way to reach out to somebody who needs it. You know, some fish just don't bite. Or my bait, I don't have it in my tackle box. But you know, it seems a lot like we fish with stones. And we absolutely do. But the Lord, He gives us so much. He can very easily take it away from us. And you know, on the way to church here this morning, Rachel was reading me a little thing, and it got her a little emotional in the car, talking about Mary, how my God came and found favor in Mary there. She was young. She was really young. According to customs there, she was probably 14, 15, if I had to put a number on it. And you know, we called it an engagement, but she was promised to a man there, Joseph. And you know, my God came, listen, and made her there where she was with child, with Jesus. And you know, she wasn't married then. And according to their customs, here's what this girl was facing. And you know, the Bible talks about her having faith. And you know, that had a lot to do with why God chose her there. And you know, He came to her. She was pregnant with child, pregnant with Jesus. And here's what she was facing. If this world would have found out, just like here today, not much has changed. If this world would have found out, she would have been cast out for it. She would have been forced to raise a child alone. And you know, that's what this world does. That's exactly what we do. If it was our children here this morning, one of our daughters, and they were pregnant, we would have nothing but the utmost compassion and understanding. But if somebody out here, listen, if we were out there handing out blankets, I guarantee you here today, and it's not a good thing, but that's just the way we work. If we had a little 16-year-old girl that came out here one day to get a blanket and a hot meal from us, and she was carrying a baby, you know what we would think in our minds? She was probably raised wrong. Something went wrong along the way. We've always got an opinion we don't understand. And you know, that's exactly how this world would have looked at Mary then. But you know, my God gave her Jesus there, and she got to raise this man from a baby. Got to see everything that He performed. He got got to see, and hear about the miracles that her baby rose up and performed. And she got to see this world taken from her. She got to watch. He wasn't pierced because of God's punishment. He was pierced because of our transgression. God didn't punish Jesus upon the cross. That wasn't what He was doing. Jesus took on a holy mission there to come and give us away. And Mary was caught in the middle of it. But you know, still with her faith, I guarantee great was her reward for everything she done. And you know, her son went upon a cross and spread his arms out, pierced not because of just Mary, because of me, and because of everybody in this room. And you know, he lowered his head and died. But you know, her son, he was raised one morning, and that's a wonderful thing here today, because he's gone. The Bible said he's gone to prepare a place for his elect. And you know what it takes here today? I believe that Jesus, a little bit of gratitude for the things that He's done.
Yeah.
Be a little gracious. Bring chaos to order for a moment. Realize that even though we didn't deserve it, a God like ours was so merciful that stepped off the throne of glory to come down here and suffer for our transgressions. And faith is why Mary was able to bring Jesus into the world like she did. Faith is why the blind man was able to see again. Faith is why the woman with the issue of blood was able to be made whole. Listen, faith is what it's going to take this morning, but it's not. We tell ourselves, if you believe, especially outside of here, ask anybody that goes to these mega churches, how is it you get the kingdom of heaven? Well, you just got to believe. Well, sure, everybody believes. When Legion recognized Jesus there, was in fear because he recognized who he was, and if he recognized him there, he obviously believed who he was. But Legion had no place in heaven. Legion was asked to be cast out and was cast out, and ran and drowned itself with the swine. Listen, it's not just belief here. It takes action. It takes some gratitude. It takes obedience. Believe all you want. I believe there's a hell this morning. It ain't where I want to go. But I do believe there's a heaven to gain here today. And we've got plenty of tools. But we got to look at everything. We got to separate the facts from the stories here today. And the facts are the Bible. The church is our home. And you know, we're stuck in such a wonderful place. Jesus was in Nazareth. We don't hear a lot of people talk about Nazareth there, but Nazareth wasn't the best place. You wouldn't think to raise a child. There was a lot of stuff going on there. But God put Jesus in Nazareth there. Look at where we're at now. How unsightly it is coming from this way to our church. You see trailers over here that have sheets put up over them, plastic up everywhere. It's unsightly. But man, we're in such a good place because there's broken hearts all around us.
That's right.
There's broken hearts on every corner. When we were out here giving out blankets and hot meals, how many broken hearts did we see? Not just broken hearts, people in wheelchairs, broken bodies, looking for something to be made whole. And inside of here, we could tell them all about it. But we got to keep this place and keep the people, keep the church in order, and follow the facts. And that's just like Brother Larry, he says it all the time, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son.
Yes, sir. The ultimate price.
The ultimate price. Come down here and die for a bunch of people that really don't deserve it, and work every day to prove that we don't deserve it. We can try here and there, but it's going to take the blood of the Lamb when it's all said and done. I'm going to get out of the way and let Brother Chris come before I ramble on and make himself sound a little worse. We got a lot of work to do. We just got to choose the right bait here this morning. We can cast and cast all day. But I'll tell you one, just thinking about it, when the disciples there were out casting, couldn't catch a thing.
Yeah.
Jesus came up on them and told them where to cast.
That's right.
Couldn't even get it back up. Use him here this morning.
Listen to him.
Listen to what he's telling you. Cast to the right. You can see the fish to the left, but if he tells you to cast to the right, cast to the right.
That's right.
You're on the boat and you can see them swimming by right there. They are. No, cast to the right. Then cast to the right. Your way is not right. And how many times do we prove it to ourselves daily? This is the way I think I should handle it. And you know what? It's just a powder keg ready to explode. We've lit that fuse and we're just sitting there like everything's okay, not knowing we're about to destroy everything.
Yeah, Lord.
I wish I had all the answers. I wish everybody in this room had every answer they needed, but we don't. We don't. But God does. And I believe that if we truly lean upon Him, we'll find that peace. One day, He'll direct us in the right way. He's in the business of giving. And He's given me more than I deserve. You guys come on.